So what does it actually mean to love a feminine woman? Today we're going to dive into the framework from a really popular video called 8 Ways to Love a Woman Properly. Now we're not here to agree or disagree with it. Our goal is just to break down its core ideas step by step using its own logic and its very specific definitions.
Okay, so everything, and I mean everything, in this philosophy hinges on this one question. See, the source material isn't talking about all women in general. It's focused on a very specific archetype it calls the feminine woman. So what exactly is that, according to this way of thinking?
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to start with the foundation, this whole masculine/feminine framework. Then we'll look at how it defines a woman in 2 totally different states, when she's in love and when she feels like that love is gone. After that, we'll get into the man's role, what the big challenge is, his job as the director, and why he constantly has to be the best man he can be.
Okay, first things first. You've got to understand that all the advice we're about to unpack is built on a very particular model. The creator is super clear about this. This is for a masculine man interested in feminine women. And he specifically says this is different from what he calls modern-day masculine independent women.
And the definition they give, it's incredibly specific. The argument goes that, evolutionarily speaking, this woman's life is, and I quote, totally dependent on the masculine man. This dependency, the video claims, is what makes her incredibly sensitive and extremely receptive to every little signal he gives off.
So with that definition locked in, what does the ideal scenario look like? Let's explore what the video describes as a feminine woman who feels completely and totally loved inside this system. Right, so when she's in this in-love state, the video says her emotions are basically a mirror of his, which leads to the joke, if you're hungry, I'm hungry. She's also described as being completely consenting and submissive. And this all ties back to that idea of extreme sensitivity. The claim is she can tell if his love is shifted just from like 3 micro muscles moving on his face. Wild.
Okay, so let's flip the coin. What happens when this exact same woman doesn't feel loved and protected? Well, according to the video, the change is pretty dramatic.
The creator uses one single word to describe this state, and it's a really powerful one: barren. He even paints this picture of a dead forest inside of her stomach, a gray heart, to really drive home that feeling of total emotional emptiness.
This slide really puts the 2 states right next to each other, doesn't it? On the left, she's receptive, filled with his energy. But on the right, when she feels unloved, the video claims her entire personality shifts to become hostile, rude, and disrespectful. She feels unsafe, anxious, and even ugly. But here's the key thing. This hostility isn't seen as her being mean. It's actually framed as a test, like a desperate attempt to get his loving attention back.
So how does she cope with feeling barren? The video argues that she tries to fill that void with what it calls substitutes for real love, or to use its exact word, degeneracy. This is stuff like junk food, gossip, casual sex, and even getting tattoos. All of it is framed as a kind of damaging, quick-fix behavior.
And all of this builds up to the main challenge for the man. According to this theory, it's not about big, grand gestures. It's about something way more constant, way more demanding.
This quote right here, it's repeated in the video, and for good reason. Notice the key isn't every day or every hour, it's every micro interaction. I mean, just think about that for a second. That implies a level of constant, focused emotional energy that is, well, it's a lot.
And this gets to the absolute heart of the challenge. The source claims that for a feminine woman, the past is basically irrelevant. The history you have, the flowers you bought her yesterday, none of it matters. The only thing that counts is how you are making her feel loved and safe, right now.
So, faced with this constant, high-stakes challenge, what's the solution? What is the guy supposed to actually do? This is where we get into the most direct, and you could say the most controversial advice in the entire video.
The video poses this very direct question, and it's one that really cuts against a lot of modern ideas about equality in relationships. What do you think the answer is?
The answer in the video is a straight-up, unambiguous no. The creator literally says, one of the best pieces of advice that I could give you is to not treat her like she's your equal. And the reason given is that if you treat each other as equals, you remove the fundamental need for each other in the relationship.
And that leads us to maybe the most striking metaphor in the whole video. The creator quotes another source and fully endorses this idea: love your woman like your 1-year-old daughter. But what does that actually mean in practice? Well, this father framework is how the video explains it.
It means the man sets the rules, provides clear direction, and is the protector. It even goes as far as her fundamental needs. The creator uses an example of having to remind his partner to shower or brush her teeth, framing it as part of his responsibility in this dynamic.
But here's the thing. This isn't a role a man just steps into once and he's done. The final piece of this whole philosophy is that it's a position he has to constantly earn and hold on to. Because if he slips up, the stakes are incredibly high.
The video introduces this concept it calls branch swinging. This is presented as a woman's natural, evolutionary instinct to always be on the lookout for a stronger, more competent man. The idea is, if her current partner shows any weakness, she will instinctively start looking for the next, better branch to swing to.
And this brings us right back around to that right now principle, doesn't it? It's what fuels the whole branch swinging idea. The core warning here is that a man's entire track record of being great can be completely erased the moment he shows weakness. Your history gives you zero security for the future.
And so this entire philosophy really boils down to this one question. What actually matters more? The incredible track record you've built over months or years, or how she feels about you right now, in this very moment? Within this framework, the answer is crystal clear. It's definitely a powerful idea to think about.